My funding came in July. Just
Wow.
imagine. So she was considering whether I would decline or accept it because of the time.
So how did the interview go? Was it difficult?
So she said, "Congratulations, I'll be approving." I said, "Thank you." I was in a haste to leave. And she passed the I-20 and she was like, "Wait, hold on."
Did you know anyone in the school before?
You see, LinkedIn has been really helpful.
Yeah.
Like he was just searching, he said the school, then I was like, oh, my tuition has been covered. Every month I'll be getting like 2,000 plus as stipend.
Stipend.
I'll be paying rent like $900. I will be left with like 1,001. I can save actually. I got here and I got to know about health insurance, and
Yeah,
health
that
insurance
alone.
4K a year.
Yeah.
Like me, I
Yeah.
didn't know I was going to be lonely here, like
Yeah.
homesickness. Like I wish someone had told me earlier. Say,
Yeah. So what is special about you? Tell me.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
cried throughout my first semester. Always. Like,
All right, before we start, consider subscribing to the channel. This helps me so much. Thank you. Somebody told me that I like to interview people who completed the University of Cape Coast. Did you complete UCC as well?
no, I didn't. I
Okay.
completed the University of Education, Winneba.
Okay. And what did you study?
I studied Bachelor of Arts in Education, specifically basic education.
Okay. When did you complete school?
I completed in 2023, but I graduated in 2024.
Ah,
Huh?
so you graduated in 2024 and you're already in the US.
Yeah.
That was smooth, right?
Yeah, I graduated in January and I came to the US in August.
Wow.
It
Hey,
wasn't that
this
smooth.
this kind of blessing there. I need some.
Oh, I pray you
Ah,
get some, but you already have enough. So
hey, how do you know?
why do you still need more?
How do you know? Wow, that's nice. Which means you did a lot of things right. So I want to know about your journey. When did you begin to look for schools? How did you do it? Like everything, if you can tell me that.
So my story is quite different from other people's story.
Mm,
So actually, when I graduated from the University of Education, Wimba, I told my dad, we were just having a conversation and it came up. I was like, I want to study abroad. And my dad
mm,
was like, huh? I don't have that kind of money. Oh. You better start looking for schools in UPSA. And he even
yeah.
suggested one program in UPSA because even though I was studying education, my mom is a businesswoman and I was helping her with managing her business and I was good at that.
Mm,
So he suggested that I just go to UPSA to take a business course. And
yeah.
so I told my partner about it and I was like, no, that's not a plan. Like
Yeah.
even though he has said it, there are a lot of funding opportunities in the United States and they are also
Mm,
good and I believe in you. So let's just take a chance.
yeah.
So me, I was just focusing on my business, and so I think he started all this process, right?
Your
Without my
partner.
knowledge. Yeah.
Is it your partner? Do you mean your husband
No, my
or boyfriend?
boyfriend. Yeah.
Okay.
So he started without informing me. It
Mm,
was when it got to a point where I was to be involved, like let's say the interview processes and other stuff.
okay.
And it was like, you know what? I came across a school in Virginia
Mm,
and they offer Master of Arts in Higher Education. And I
mm,
read about the program, and I think it would be good for you to give it a try. And I was like, okay, that's nice. And it was like,
mm,
but I've already applied,
yeah.
and they want to schedule an interview, and you have just 3 days to prepare. I was
Ah.
like, who does this? Like, you should have
Only him.
informed
Only
me
him.
earlier. Because I don't even know what you wrote, like statements of purpose, how
Yeah.
you
Wow.
edited my CV. I don't know anything about it. So how do you expect me to prepare for this
Mm,
interview? So he sent out all the documents. He was like, if he had told me earlier, I would have said, oh, next year.
mm,
Right? Because me, I needed more time to figure out things, and being the only daughter, my mom being my best friend, it was really difficult for me to
yeah.
just yeah. So he just sent out the documents and I had to go through the documents for 3 days and prepare for the interview. So during my interview, my first interview, with my graduate advisor. I
Mm,
was a bit confused because there were certain things she was asking me and I had no idea of.
mm,
So it was later on that I revisited my statement of purpose and I realized I left out certain things from it.
mm,
So it was all good. So that was when he told me about it, and I also supported. Like, even
mm.
though he wants the best for me, I didn't want it to look like I'm not interested, don't have to say
Yeah.
yes. So I also had to put in my best.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was
So how
when I
many schools did
started.
you apply to? Do you know, or
Just
just
one,
just
just
one?
one. Yeah,
And you got into it. Wow.
yeah,
So
by the
for
grace
him,
of God.
yeah. So for him, is he also in the US now, or he's in Ghana?
He's in Ghana. He
Okay. So he
became
did it for
US
you.
4. We did it together.
He did it. So he applied for himself and then for you.
Yeah, we
But
both
then you
applied
go.
to the
Oh,
same
okay.
school.
Oh, okay.
But he was
Ah.
in a different program, PhD. But then
Oh,
he
okay.
couldn't secure funding. So
So
I
then
had
you came.
to.
Wow. Hey, this kind of flower. I'm looking for some.
I pray you get some.
Ah, that's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. And do you know why he applied to that school? Or
George
he didn't tell you?
Mason.
Yeah, the reason why he applied to that school because it looks like you guys like that school.
Yeah. Okay, so he decided to apply to George Mason because of the diverse backgrounds in the school.
Mm,
Because George Mason is really a diverse environment.
mm,
And also their graduation rate, we took into consideration all these things, their graduation rate, and also the possibility of us securing funding,
mm.
right?
Yeah.
And also he said he saw a post of one professor
Mm,
in their school on LinkedIn, and he was
okay.
really much into his research interest. So he reached out to
Yeah.
me. So he became a supervisor and he was like, okay, since I'm applying to this school, then why not apply for my lady as well? So
Hi, baby. Ah.
yeah,
Ah. So you said George Mason University is very diverse. Do you mean in
yeah.
terms of the population, like black and
Population,
white,
black and white.
Asians?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not a white dominant university. Like
Mm,
we have a lot of Africans, Asians, and
mm,
people from different backgrounds all together in the school.
mm. Which means that you and your boyfriend didn't look at other countries at all, right? Just the US and just George Mason, right?
Yeah, just the US and just George Mason.
You mentioned two admission. You mentioned the admission interview. You mentioned the first one. How many admission interviews did you have?
3.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Tell
Okay,
me. Can you
so
tell me about? Yeah.
yeah. The first one with my school, you have to reach out to the graduate advisor.
Mm,
Yeah, so when you reach out to her, then she schedule an interview with you.
mm,
So after that, then you also meet with the admission committee for the
mm.
program.
Wow.
Yeah. So first of all, I met with my graduate advisor concerning my admission. Then later on, I met with the team, like the team. Then they were like looking at your undergraduate
Background.
background. You studied Bachelor of Education.
Mm,
So why not College of Education, but then Master of Arts in Higher Education? And I told them that's because I don't want to be limited to the classroom only, but then I want to also go beyond that. And also you see, sometimes you have to sell yourself to them,
yeah.
I just told them, oh, this is what I do. Like, I'm conducting a research in sociocultural norms contributing to gender disparities in Ghanaian universities. So, since my bachelor's degree was limited to basic education, that is elementary education, I wanted to go beyond that.
Mm,
And also, I have the leadership qualities, and I want to serve as a dean, faculty member,
mm.
like,
Okay.
they were like, okay, so they'll get back to me later. Oh,
Uh,
that was my second interview. And the third interview, they were like, so if I'm being given the opportunity to do my PhD instead of the masters that I applied to, would that be great? And I told them yes. And they said, if that's the case, then they would have to refer me to the College of Education
mm.
because that place it will be very easy for me. But then I did not buy it. I told them I just wanted them to know that that's the program I want to do. So,
Oh, okay.
so
So they should
it
just give you
was
the higher
after the
education.
interview that I was given the admission.
Okay. So after the second interview or the third interview
Third
that you got
interview.
admission, after
Third.
the third, that's when you got admission.
Yeah.
And then when you got admission, when did you get funding?
I had to apply.
For funding again?
Yeah. My
Wow.
admission didn't come with funding. In
Ah,
my school, it doesn't come with that. After your admission, then you apply for funding. That one
okay.
is a different thing altogether.
From the department.
Departments, I tried several fund like GPA, GTA, presidential funding. Like you have to apply to several of them.
So from your
Then
department or from other departments, like outside departments, like unit on campus.
both. I applied
Okay.
for one from my department, but then they were like they are not giving out funding for four because they have students who are already in the United States that qualify. So I had to apply for a GPA. It wasn't to even another department. I applied for a GPA. Yeah.
What is
So
GPA?
graduate professional assistant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was being interviewed for that, but then I couldn't get it. So it was later on that they wrote out to me that in their department there's a vacancy for graduate teaching assistant, and looking at my CV, I qualify. So I should either decline or accept it. Then I just accepted it.
Wow. So how many GA applications did you do?
Uncountable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just for one GA.
Yeah.
And did you have to do a lot of interviews as well, aside the admission ones that you did?
Yeah, like three of them.
Wow. So eventually, which funding did you get? Where did you get the funding from? Is it from your department?
No,
Okay.
another department.
Which department is that?
School of Integrative Studies.
How were you able to get that?
Okay, so the lady who interviewed me for the GPA, the graduate professional assistantship position, she's she's an office manager for the School of Integrative Studies. So she said, even though they had to give the GPA to someone else who was more, that's what she said,
Qualify.
more qualified, she was there and her boss, that's the director, reached out to her that they need a GTA. So she should work on that. She works on that. So she said, as soon as she said that, she just remembered she had an interview with a fantastic lady from Ghana, so she should
Oh,
just try.
fantastic
And it
lady.
was really late, like late. My funding came in July. Just
Wow.
imagine.
Wow.
So she was considering whether I would decline or accept because of the time. Yeah. So she just reached out to me and I was like, why not? I accept it in good faith. Like,
Yeah.
who would decline this opportunity?
Yeah. So all through the interviews, you had your boyfriend coaching you and all of that,
Yeah,
right?
he was my coach.
Oh, yeah, Charlie. We are looking for this kind of love. uh, so you got a funding in July. How were you able to get a date in time to process your visa and come to the US?
It's God though.
Mm,
Okay, so was it 8th July?
mm,
I received the letter on 8th July. So
mm.
even I was in town, I told my mom is a business. Me, I was in town doing market and my boyfriend was calling me. He called me and was like, congratulations, like
Oh,
you've been awarded a GT. And I was like, looking at the time, I have to be on campus next month.
look at you.
And my daddy wasn't aware
Okay.
of all this because
Mm,
first of all, I feel say Wabuma Bem like, so why should I?
yeah.
So when he called, I was like, so now that this thing has worked, how do I
Tell you.
tell him? And like,
You'll be
even if he's
surprised.
going to
Yeah.
get loan for me to process all this application, like looking at the time, I don't think it will be possible. So
Mm,
I was like, okay, so what should we do? And he said, oh, I trust you. Let's buy the visa forms tomorrow.
mm,
So I told my mom about that, and she said, oh, that's good news. So she gave me money. Then
wow.
we bought the visa forms, and he worked on the rest, like securing a date. We had to apply for emergency because we were not getting the dates. So we applied for emergency, and our emergency was approved on the 4th of August.
Wow.
So he had to hunt for date throughout the night. Then we were
Ah.
fortunate he got a date in 7th August. So I had just like 3 days spare to prepare for the visa interview.
Huh.
And okay, so
So you.
because he had the experience, he has been doing it for people, he knew about all these processes. So
It was easy
the
for
day
him
we
to help
bought
you.
the visa interview, he
Hmm.
contacted a friend here to work on our service
Service
payment
fee.
for us. So
Okay.
he had to pay in advance because before. So
So how did the interview go? Was it difficult? I remember you said. Why are you laughing?
I always tell people that I don't know how I managed to get here, but then I think
Okay.
it's God because
Mm.
I'm a very shy person.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah.
Even though some
And
of your posts. Okay, well,
because
I didn't say anything.
I'm a very shy person, and like the word at the mention of the word interview alone
Yeah.
scares me a lot.
Mm.
Like
Wow.
so and he continued like assuring me, oh, I trust you. And my mom too also did her best. She was like, oh, ferry there, some ferry there, sir. Like, that thing. And he had to take me through some questions, and he also connected me with his friends here to take me since they've been there before. They had
Yeah.
to mentor me, guide
Mm.
me, and
Nice.
it was great. And the day of the interview, God, I was very nervous. I was even in the queue outside the embassy. I was shaking. Like a lady saw me and she was like, calm down,
Yeah. Charlie.
because a guy came like the way they were bouncing people, and
Yeah.
one guy came out of the embassy. He was just personal. He saw me and was like, learn about your program, because all the VOs are asking, tell me about your program, tell me about your program. So I was like,
Mm.
oh, did I even though I prepared for it, but because I was very nervous and tense,
Yeah.
like I totally forgot everything. So I was just remembering, like trying to brainstorm,
Yeah.
and also before going for the interview, I heard about this Chinese lady. She was also
Ah.
scaring me a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
And my boyfriend told me, what? When you are being asked to join a queue, just excuse yourself. Tell them you are going to the washroom. Go out, come back and join a different queue. So that was my strategy. There's this TikTok Jan's security lady. She asked me to join the queue. And before entering, I knew she was the first person at the first window.
Okay.
So the lady asked me to join. I was like, no, God, this is not happening. So I told the lady I want to use the washroom. She said, oh, I should wait when I'm done. I told her, no, I cannot hold it. I just left the queue, visited the washroom, came back, and God, God wasn't faithful to me. I was assigned to the same.
Chinese lady. Wow. Wow.
She bounced like three people right in front of me, and I was shaking. And I
Huh.
told myself, you know what?
How die be die?
Yeah, someone has tried this for the eighth time and being approved.
Yeah.
So this is my first time. So
Yeah.
anything can happen. And when anything happens to that's part of the life
Yeah. Yeah.
experiences, I
Of
will just
course.
have to work on it the next time. So I just went and I passed my documents to her, and she was like, tell me about your program. Because I was nervous, my voice was breaking.
Yeah.
She said, can you speak loud? I said, sure. And I told her, oh, and program Master of Arts in Higher Education will equip me with this, blah, blah, blah. I was just talking plain. I didn't even know what I was saying. I was just
Yeah.
talking plenty, and she was like, okay, congratulations, I'll be approving your visa.
Wow.
And okay, so one thing that I want to say that maybe I didn't add is that people should always be mindful of what they say, because I think they ask you questions based on what you utter out of your mouth. So she said, congratulations, I'll be approving. I said, thank you. I was in a haste to leave. And she passed the I-20 and she was like, wait, hold on. How were you able to secure this funding?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I was able to secure this funding because I submitted a competitive application. She was like, what do you mean by competitive
Yeah.
application? I
Break it
said,
down.
I like competitive application because I got references from three professors and she was like, who are these professors? Like two professors from my department and one professor from the director of education at the Ladma Municipal Assembly. She was like, oh, is that all? Were you not interviewed? I said I was interviewed by four professors. What are the names of these professors? So I had to just mention those that I was familiar with. I had to mention those that I didn't know. I just mentioned any other names. And she was like, wow, great. So which questions did they ask you? That was after she told me she had approved my
Yeah,
visa. So I was
yeah.
like, so which question were you asked? And I was like, oh, they asked about my teaching experience. He said, oh, wow, you were a teacher. I said, yes. Have you completed your service? I said, no, not yet. This is my fifth month of service. She's like, okay, I'll still approve your visa. And I was like, thank you. She passed my documents to me and I ran out of there.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I think the way your posture, like after she approved your visa, I think you made her feel like maybe somebody got a funding for you. Maybe you did nothing in the process, and so you are too excited, and so that's why she wanted to probe more to find out you indeed did the work yourself. And this is why the study abroad process requires everyone to do it themselves, because if you are kept in the dark and then you go and then they ask you certain questions and then you have no idea, then that will be automatic denial, right? Because it's like you don't even know why you need it. You don't even know how you got into the program, which means when you come, it's not something you really want to do, right? Somebody did everything for you. So yeah, so I think yeah, next time you don't seem too excited. But your story is interesting because somebody who is shy might think they have no chance, right? Because it's like the place looks very intimidating, and you, the way like you feel like you are shy and all of that. There are people who also feel like that, right? Who feel like when they go, they are not likely to be approved because they won't be able to express themselves and all of that. Is there something you can tell these people?
I'll just encourage them to be strong because, like, I'm a teacher.
Mm,
I teach. And someone will say, ah, you're a teacher and why are you shy? Like,
yeah,
but beyond any there. So people like this, like you have to be ready at all circumstances. And
yeah,
sometimes you have to look back, consider where you are coming from. And just one thing that my boyfriend always says that look at how far you have come. So don't let your shyness
mm,
bring you back to where you are coming from. So
mm,
that's it. So if you are out there, a shy person, and you have this ambition to do something better for yourself at the last minute, my dear, forget about being shy.
yeah,
Just like look back from, like
mm,
I said, look back from where you are coming from and just
mm,
take the decision for yourself whether you
yeah,
want to be shy and
yeah,
let the opportunity bypass you, or you want to
yeah.
just go for it.
Do I look shy? Do I look like a shy person?
Oh, your face looks like, but
But what? But I'm not shy.
yeah, I think you are not. You
I
just
don't
have
sound
an
shy.
innocent face. Like you see, we those who
Innocent
have
face.
innocent
Hey,
faces, like people think we are shy and all that stuff. But
but you just said you're shy or you're not shy.
I am. I'm shy, but then when I'm closer to you, like my friends
Yeah,
don't see me as a shy
yeah. You
person.
can
But
be
then,
crazy, right? Not crazy in a bad way, but that kind of thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yourself. That's what I mean. Yeah. So the thing is that I'm actually very shy. Like what do you call shyness? I'm actually very shy. That's why they call me shy actually. So, but yeah, like you said, sometimes you just have to know where you are. You have to know what you want and all of that. When I make videos, people see it and they think, yeah, I'm not shy, but I'm very shy, very, very shy. You have to get into my circle before you can actually see the real me, because yeah, sometimes I just, yeah, it is what it is, right? But you personally, given that you already had some interviews, right, before you got the admission and then the funding, why did you struggle? Why did you struggle at the interview? Because you already got some experiences already, before going for the interview.
No, it's different. If
It's
my
different.
personal interview was to be online, oh my dear, I would have
Oh,
done
okay. That would have
better.
been different.
You
Okay.
know, there's a difference between Zoom interview and in-person
Yeah.
interview, and
Yeah, that's true.
also, um, you see, hearing stories of people's experiences about these
Yeah.
visa processes. So even if you are this hard person, you will still be nervous.
Yeah. That's true.
And being
Yeah.
my first time to, you should
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. How much funding did you get? Does your funding cover everything? Or you
No,
have a
just a
deficit?
tuition waiver.
Yeah, teaching whatever. So then the living
Yeah.
expenses, man, how are you able to manage that?
Stipend.
The stipend. But you say
Yeah.
you got just a teaching waiver. So a teaching waiver means you have living expenses. Or they
No,
give
I got tuition waiver, which covers for 6 credits of my tuition, and
okay.
also a stipend, which comes every month
Okay.
for my living
So
expense.
is that enough for you? Virginia is
Oh,
it's
I tell you,
it's an expensive. You are in
Virginia,
Virginia, right? It's an expensive
yeah,
state.
especially
So
Fairfax. And because
yeah.
Fairfax is a white dominated
Mm.
community, rent, everything is crazy.
So how are you able to manage? You're surviving.
I'm surviving by the grace
You'll
of
be
God.
fine. Yeah, it's just the way it
You
is when you
can't
come.
complain
Sometimes
because
yeah, sometimes it's hard at the beginning, but you'll be fine little by little.
yeah,
Especially you know when your boyfriend joins you, then you guys can actually share one apartment and reduce the cost and all of that. But let me ask a personal question. You don't have to answer, right? So, are you going to Ghana for you guys to get married or something before he comes or something, or you guys will get married here, or you guys will go back at some point to get married, or what? What's the plan?
okay, so we have two plans. It's either
Mm,
so he deferred to this fall,
mm,
next fall,
yeah.
and his admission is in, and we're still
Mm,
securing funding, working on it. So
mm,
when he secures the funding, it's either I'll be going to Ghana in summer for us to get married, then we come back to the United
okay.
States, or he comes here, then maybe courthouse wedding, baby kakra, then after like maybe a
Yeah,
year, you come
you
back to
can
Ghana
go.
to do the
Yeah,
traditional.
yeah. That's
That's
actually
the
very good.
plan.
That's good. You guys have done well. Like you've done really well. Yeah,
Thank
you've
you.
done really well. So in your current school, how many Ghanaians are there? Do you know?
Oh, there are a lot of Ghanaians, but then okay, so yesterday my school organized an iCafe event for international students,
Mm,
and 5 countries were represented: Ghana,
mm,
Kenya, Ethiopia, Nigeria, and one other country. So I was one of the volunteers for the Ghanaian community,
mm.
and I'm also the current secretary for the Ghanaian community
Ah,
in Kenya.
Jish.
Yeah,
Mm,
so I got a chance to meet a lot of Ghanaians. So yeah,
mm.
it was crazy. I knew a few of them, like 10 or 15. Like, I say, oh, na man, I could share. I say, oh,
Yeah,
a Ghanaian. So, beside, are you a Ghanaian? I said,
he
the
doesn't
only
want to
parents
answer.
so I saw a Ghanaian. Oh, my parents are Ghanaian. I said, oh, no, need it. Yeah, so yesterday I met a lot of them, more than 10 Ghanaians. So,
Mm,
apparently, those who have registered with the community are like 59.
59 Ghanaians.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Which means that you would recommend your school, right, to other Ghanaians.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so there's this class I'm taking this semester, and at the beginning of the semester, my program organized a spring kickoff, and I met with this professor Jeff, and he was like, "Hi, Regina. Like, did you recommend this school to your friends in Ghana?" And I was like, "No, not really. He's part of the admission committee," and he was like,
Mm,
"This year, a lot of
a lot of
Ghanaians." And I was like, oh, that's great because I need my people around me.
uh your name is it Regina or Regina?
It's Regina, but
Okay, but they say
the people
Regina.
here call me Regina.
Okay.
They claim I do not know how to pronounce my name,
Uh,
but then,
yeah. I mean it's a now. I decide how I want my name to be pronounced. So
yeah,
that one.
I
Yeah.
tell them Regina and they say no, their pronunciation is Regina. So, okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Does your school offer application fee waivers or like is application fee free?
No, it's not free, but then It could be waived.
Okay. So did
Yeah,
your boyfriend
mine
get a
was
waiver?
waived.
Okay. How did he get the waiver?
You have to apply. Okay, so I
Mm,
communicate. My boyfriend communicated that to my advisor. Told her about my current situation. I'm a first gen student, being my academics
mm,
finances being sponsored by my mom, and
yeah.
so I think they gave me a code
Okay.
to enter. So that was it. I my application fee was waived, but he had to pay for his.
Oh, okay. Did he also try the waiver and then
Yeah,
they okay. So it means that depend on your story or depend on the program, you can get a waiver.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You have to convince them that you are
Mm,
intelligent, but then you are facing some financial difficulties.
mm,
And one friend I have to, I've been laughing at him all the time.
mm,
I mentioned to him last time that my application fee was waived, and was like, how did I do that? Because he reached
mm.
out to his supervisor for a waiver and was like, you cannot pay for application fee. How can you manage? How can you manage studies?
I mean, that's true, right? That's true. That's true. Yeah. Wow. So you got your visa approved, you had funding. Did you know anyone in the school before you came?
Before
Okay.
I came. And
So
then
tell me about everything from visa approval to getting into your own apartment.
okay, so when my visa was being approved, we planned on taking the next step. When I say we, I mean my partner
Yeah.
and I.
Mm,
So he you see LinkedIn has been really helpful.
yeah.
Like was just searching, he said the school, then students from Ghana, he was like Ghanaians in LinkedIn.
Mm,
Then we came across this lady, Loretta. Then he reached out to her.
mm,
So actually, he did everything. Was when I got here before I had the opportunity to meet with the lady.
mm,
So he reached out to the lady and was like, "Oh, my girlfriend she has gained admission to the school
mm,
and her visa has been approved, and she's expected to arrive in the United States in 2 weeks, and she hasn't secured accommodation. Is there any way you can help?" Like, so she sent out links to campus apartment, and but then it was really expensive. Like
mm.
four in a room, 2,000 bucks a month. That's
Ah,
crazy. Like,
ah.
so our next option was to search for accommodations at Facebook Marketplace. So that was
Mm,
where I got one. Yeah. And it was closer to campus, like 12 minutes walk
mm,
from my house to campus. So we contacted the landlord, and he needed us to deposit an amount
mm,
to show our commitment. So we reached out to Loretta, the same lady, and she had to deposit some amount. And when I got here, I reimbursed her. So
mm,
she worked on everything for us, and also she connected us to a guy who also picked me up from the airport,
mm.
Nigerian guy who also picked me up from the airport. So everything was, it wasn't that easy, but you know,
Mm.
me being there, asking someone to pay huge amounts of money.
Yeah. It's not easy.
If you
Yeah.
don't trust, it's not as if maybe we knew her. We didn't
Yeah.
know her, but then she just trusted us and worked on it for us.
Yeah.
We
Let me
really
ask this
appreciate
quickly.
that.
Uh, let me ask this quickly.
Okay.
I think you are very intelligent, right? Based on the conversation so far, I feel like you had a good GPA. Do you mind sharing what your GPA was?
Oh, my GPA was 3.48.
Okay, 3.5. Okay. Yeah.
Not 3.5. I can't get to 3.5. Because of that, I didn't get first class. Oh,
Yeah, but that is still yeah, it's not first class, but then
mhm.
it's 3.5, right? If you round
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But
so
they
three
didn't
point
run it
five.
for me to get a first class, so it's
No,
still
they cannot round it
it's
because no, they cannot round it because it was 3.4. So when you round 3.5, it becomes 3.5, right? So yeah, there wasn't
fine.
anything that they could do
Yeah.
about that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you have an interesting story. So for you personally, is there something you wish you knew before coming to the US?
A lot.
Huh.
A lot. Okay, so I would say academically, I wish I had known the cultural differences
Mm,
in the academic system before coming here, and also the cultural adjustment in the United States, because
mm,
I was prepared for coursework, not considering how different classroom dynamics will be. Different from, like, comparing the education system back in Ghana to this place. And yeah, I wish someone had lectured me on that before coming here. Because me, the me the books about me, but over here it's not done that way. And my program too is more or less like a professional program. So
okay.
my classmates, they have the experience, and the undergrad, like some of them have PhDs, but then they are just doing is like
Okay.
certificates, for the certificates, and being in class with all these people. And Charlie, I was thinking, oh, the lecturer will just come to class and, oh, unit one, let's start from here. Then he'll just
Mm,
teach. No, they don't do that. They'll just assign you to the readings for you to read. They will just come guide you, discussions. And so I really struggled a lot in the course of my first semester, but
mm.
then it was so good. And also financially, this thing. I
Listen,
wish I had known about the hidden costs beyond
we
tuition,
we don't
especially
say it plenty because when we say those back there, they will not understand some of these things.
serious.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, my tuition has been covered. Every month I'll be getting like 2,000 plus as stipend. I'll
Stipend,
be
yeah.
paying my yearly calculations, like I'll be paying rent like $900. I will be left with like 1,001. I can save actually. I got here and I got to know about health insurance, and
Yeah.
health
That
insurance
alone.
4K a year.
Yeah.
Like
That
that's
alone.
crazy. They have to split it. So it's like every semester you're paying like 2,000.
Yeah. Oh,
And I was
your
like,
school is expensive. Your school, I don't know why the health insurance is that expensive.
I
In many
wish it
places, it's
was
less than that.
optional, because
Yeah, no, it's not. They won't make it optional because you're an international student. You are required to have it.
I'm paying, but I'm not benefiting from it because I've never
Yeah.
been to
So
the.
so you should benefit from it. So like me personally, what I do is I do checkups. So like detailed, more like comprehensive checkup. So then blood, urine, everything. Like I do it every year so that they can check everything, and that's what I. So I think at least I make use of it. I just wish there was a way we could waive it, but it is what it is. You just have to do what Romans do, right? When you are in Rome. So yeah,
If you can't beat them, just join them. So
exactly. Yeah. So then what else again? Is there anything else? So academics and then the fees. What else? Is there
and
anything else?
also,
Mm,
if you if you are good at something, that's okay. But if not, I think I would encourage you learn a skill. Yeah, because especially for braiders, and there's money in those ways. Like,
mm,
because in Virginia here, if you don't have $300, you cannot braid your hair. I
mm.
tell you. So,
Yeah.
and that could be a help, like it
Yeah.
will
A good
support you
source of income.
financially
Yeah.
too. There's this lady at church that is a hairdresser, so I reached out to her. So during the spring break, sorry, the fall break, yeah, she taught me how to braid. And that's this thing that you are seeing on my hair. I did it myself. Oh.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't need to go and pay. I didn't need to go and pay $300 to braid. So I think I would advise them to learn a skill before they come here, because
Mm,
that one too could be of help,
mm,
which will support them financially.
mm.
So if I
So
had known earlier, I would have learned how to braid back in Ghana
mm,
and done a lot of things for myself.
mm. Yeah. Is there any other skill that you wish you knew before coming? Or the braiding? Do you know how to drive?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
How about so?
So how about so?
Yeah, because commuting here is very, very difficult. Like,
Mm.
especially in this cozy weather, like you go, you miss the bus. Me, if I miss the bus, I come home to sleep. Oh, that's just,
You don't go. You don't go to class. Hey.
no, my classes are online too,
Oh, okay.
and my GTA classes too are online.
Okay.
I only go to campus on Thursdays for office hours.
Well,
Yeah, I will, but then
and
I
also
do not
driving.
even have a driving
Yeah.
register.
So who is going to teach you how to drive?
I have a lot of friends who drive at church.
Okay.
Yeah, actually,
You
they
just don't have
have
the
been
time yet.
forcing me to learn, go for the learner's permit, and but then I don't have time. Like
Yeah.
I'm always
There's no
busy,
time.
so there's no time.
Yeah. Wow. So the academic struggles that you had, at the beginning, is it better now? Are you able to cope well in class compared to when you came, or it's
Yeah,
still challenging for you?
it's better now.
Okay.
Because last semester I was taking a class, an online class, finance management in higher education, and I never spoke in class till the semester ended. But then you know what? I think after the second class, I went to the lecturer's office and I told him, Professor Shin, you know what? This is how I am. I'm a very shy person, and also this is my first time in the United States, and I'm struggling with a lot of things. So, in fact, his policy was he doesn't give out lecture notes, right? So I went to him, then I explained my situation and I told him, oh, I'm trying to get it. And you see the way they speak, sometimes it's really
Yeah,
difficult for me to
the
take notes.
accent.
So I
Yeah.
would recommend. Oh, he was like, no problem. And he was like, you don't talk in class. What's wrong? And I told him, I'm in class with professionals. And I'm yet to learn about all these things. So sometimes I feel like
Yeah.
what they are discussing is way beyond my expectation and also what I have learned. So it will take a matter of time for me to just, and it was like, no, I'm not going to buy this because of you. I'm going to assign you to groups for you to present in the next 2 weeks. So you
Yeah.
have to. He told me that no, you have to like overcome it.
Yeah.
So be preparing for an interview in the next 2 weeks. I was like, okay, we shall see. But then
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
marks. Who doesn't like 20 marks? So I had to just put away
Yeah.
my shyness and just collaborate with other classmates.
Yeah. But you haven't presented yet, right? Is it next 2 weeks or the 2 weeks has
I
already
was
passed?
in fall last semester.
Okay. So you
I did
presented.
my
How did it go?
presentation. It was great. Like I didn't even realize I was in front of them. It was when I finished and they started clapping. I was like, so you people
Prof.
are here. I didn't look at anybody. I was just
Yeah.
because you see, I'm a teacher, but then I teach children. Like I was teaching class six, and these people are
Yeah.
grown ups, people's grandparents, and I felt like I'll be shy, but I just told
Yeah.
myself, I'm already here. There's nothing I can do, so
Yeah.
let me
What can
just
come can come. Yeah.
this, this.
Yeah. I think it is a common thing, with all of us. The thing is, if you don't realize that this is common and then try to overcome it, you will always be limited by your own, self belief about things. Because all of us, when we are put in the unknown, we at the beginning we might even struggle, right? But then once you get comfortable, then you start flowing, right? Like this interview, maybe at the beginning, like even me when I'm interviewing people at the beginning, I struggle a little bit before I get into the flow and then I'm able to, because you are not ready. It just feels like, how will it go? You are uncertain about how things are going to go, and
Yeah.
so you are worried. And a lot of people that I've interviewed, before the interview, they were feeling like, man, this thing, how is it going to go? But afterwards, they look at it and you're like, hey, wow, I mean, I can express myself well. Like, so yeah, we never know what we can do, and it's always good that somebody pushes us to do what we think we cannot do. That is the only time we can actually find out that we can do certain things, right? So yeah, it is what it is. I also wasn't used to answering questions when I was at UCC. People didn't know me, right? I was the best student in the department, but nobody knew I was, because
I tell you.
nobody, yeah, nobody knew me. Nobody, I was just this quiet person, and then I'll come sit at the back, mind my business. And so, second year, that was when people started, knowing me. It was until fourth year that even some people got to know that, oh, this is a Shaibu, because they had heard about Shaibu, but they
Okay.
didn't know who I was. So yeah, fourth year, when everybody knew, I started sitting in front, answering questions, and because it's like, okay, you have to live up to the hype and all of that. Because at that point, I think I felt like I am the best student, right? And people were not even close to me, that kind of thing. So it was like, oh, how it cannot be worse, right? Whatever you say, even if it's bad, it's not like the person knows better than you. So that gives you confidence to be able to do more, like be able to express yourself more, that kind of thing.
During the
Yeah.
graduation, like we were going for our gowns and I was in the queue and people
Mm.
saw me and they were like, hey, so now near our class, like were you in our class? Like, what do you mean by were you in our class?
Yeah, yeah.
People were like, were you in our class? I was like, what are you trying to what do you mean by were you in our class?
Yeah. How many were you in class?
We were like 140.
Yeah, it's difficult for people to know. Yeah, my classes, think in economics were over 200. I think were 250 or so. So yeah, it was a huge class. You see all of us in class, and people would have to stand at the back and like, Ghana system. You know how it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So based on the things that you wished you knew, right? What tips will you give to anyone who is coming? Is there something you want them aside the things that you wish you had learned? Is there something you want to tell them to get
Okay, so
themselves ready, right, for what is ahead?
yeah, so I would say this whole process is quite overwhelming.
Mm,
And I know people will be very desperate to come here, oh,
mm,
go school. But then while working towards this process, you also have to get time for yourself. When I say get time for yourself, I
mm,
mean you have to also work on yourself, take into consideration all these things that I mentioned. Like I said, academically, I
yeah.
knew I wish I knew about the cultural differences. So they have
Mm,
to get time to learn about all these things. Also plan. It takes planning. Like you have to plan. You have to plan towards all this process. So you have to sit back, plan, oh, how am I going to survive financially in the United States? Because this stipend, people see it as huge.
yeah.
But then paying rent, utilities, and other stuff. Like, so I was the last time I was chatting to a friend, he was like, "Oh, you've been there for almost 7 months, and by now I think you should be saving like 5,000." Like she was doing my calculations
My
for me. Guess
sister.
what? I was like, you don't mean it. I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have to plan towards all these things. You are going to be paid, but then you have to consider other
Mm,
costs beyond tuition. Yeah.
yeah.
And also, like I said, they should try and learn a skill
Mm,
before they come here because it's going to help a lot. That will be very helpful.
mm,
And also, in Akan we have this saying that Obi Nima Obi Bisa. Or yeah.
yeah.
You shouldn't always assume how things should be. You have to seek for advice, like reach
Mm,
out to someone there to ask. Like some people, when you are telling them, they think, oh, oh, you are already there. You don't want me to come, so you are just saying things to
yeah.
scare me. That shouldn't always be the issue.
Mm,
You shouldn't always assume, but then you should also what try to ask and seek for support. Just reach out to friends here, ask them
yeah.
like ask them what you want to know before you come. Achina Nkonwa Weka said, me, I
Yeah.
didn't know I was going to be lonely here, like
Yeah.
homesickness. Like I wish someone had told me earlier. I said,
Yeah.
hey, you have to bond, like
It's not easy.
let them
Yeah.
understand. Like being here is different from being back home.
Mm,
Say being home, Winneba and Accra, the distance is not that much. So your mom will miss, oh, but be afraid, but yeah, the man. I will be like, when I came here, she called, was like, hey, now be back Ghana, that be now, wait. Like, let them understand
it's not that
that
simple.
being home
Yeah.
is not different from, it's
Yeah.
not the same as like
Yeah.
being in abroad,
Yeah.
far away from home. So there are certain things that they have to limit. And like that's what I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I when I interviewed John, he mentioned that he was doing a campus job that was paying him $10 an hour. Now $10 an hour, so like you're laughing. Why are you laughing?
$10. How will you survive?
Exactly. So $10 an hour, which means that in a month he was not even going to get $500. But then somebody in Ghana who makes maybe $1,000 a month, when the person hears, oh, $10 an hour, just 1 hour you're making $10, which is more than 100.
Trying to convert.
Yeah, which is more than 100, which is more than 100 cities in Ghana. You'd be like, hey, you're making $10 an hour, you're complaining. But what they don't know is that if you're making $10 an hour, your rent alone will be maybe $600, and then you have school fees. Your health insurance alone, some places it's like 1,000, some places 1,300, some places like in your case 2,000 every semester, right? And then you have living expenses, your food. I mean, food is not expensive in the US, but still there is food, so many things. So that 200, that $100, sorry, $10 an hour. Even if you work $100,
100 hours a
even
week.
if you work 100 hours a week, it still wouldn't do anything for you. But these are things people back home they won't understand. They think, oh, hey, you're making this, hey, Charlie, socket to me. Say, they don't
They
understand.
even try to, like, someone will just reach out. Oh, yeah, like my ex, she won't send me $50. Like,
Yeah, and if they don't help, if you don't help, they think you are wicked, you have
you're
changed.
wicked.
But that's not the reality. It's not true.
Even
If
your relatives, like
yeah,
your
they
nuclear
won't
family,
understand.
they are not even
Yeah, some of them will
expecting
not
much
even
from you.
disturb you.
But then
Yeah,
they extended, like,
yeah. Yeah. It's not easy. If you are not done with school and working fully, it's not easy to have a lot of money that you are giving out like that, saving, like it's not easy like that. But when somebody is working, but even that one, it depends on whether the person took loans and stuff like that. Because if you took loans, if you have credit card bills, then even if you are working, it's still not enough. You have a lot of bills to take care of, right? You have a credit card, right?
yeah, I do.
Okay. How helpful is that? Do you think it's helpful?
It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
And
yeah,
then you just have to be building your scores, like your credit scores. And
yeah. If you are taking a loan, will you have regretted it?
if I had taken a loan,
A loan
what
of,
would
let's say,
that
$40,000
mean?
from Empower, $40,000 from Empower, will you have? Do you think, looking back, you would have regretted it?
Yeah.
You would have regretted a $40,000 loan.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot about these loans.
Mm,
Like people come here, graduate from school, start working, and like 10 years later, still being unable to pay the loan.
yeah,
And I don't
yeah,
think I can do that. It
yeah,
wouldn't have been an option,
yeah.
first of all. So,
Yeah, that's good. I tell people, but they don't listen to me. It's like in the study abroad space. I don't know how many people are talking about this loan, but when I came back, I heard a lot of things, and people will come to me about loans, and I even made videos, interview videos on loans, and I had to delete them because I just didn't want to be part of any loan thing. So
people even
my
come to
page,
your DM to attack you.
yeah, my page, I do mock sessions with people like on my channel, like for free. So if you come to me with a loan, I'm not going to do mock session with you because I just don't want to be part of it because it's dangerous. Some people don't. Some people actually go for $100,000 loan. I'm telling
Wow.
you, yeah, 100,000. How
What
can
are
you
you
pay
going to
100,000?
pay?
Even
How
people who are
many
born, people born in the US are struggling to repay their student loans. You from Ghana, you think you get a job that is going to, but at the end of the day, everybody's life is different, and maybe depend on the program you study, maybe the job prospect. I don't know, But what I say is that if you know how to get a good job that will pay you so well, then you should be able to get a good GA offer to come, so that you save yourself, so
That
that
was never an option.
yeah, so that you can get married and
Follow
then
for
enjoy
what?
life instead of thinking about paying
I
loans.
hadn't
And
even heard about it. It was
yeah, now
the
it's
day of
common.
my interview that I was communicating with
Mm,
a lady, and I asked her, and she was like, Empower loan. I was like,
yeah,
which one is that?
yeah.
Because
When I was coming, it wasn't an issue, but now it's a common thing. People are going for it like that because they think it's their only option. So it is what it is. If I come to you that I'm struggling financially, what advice will you give me?
okay, so when you come to me to tell me you're struggling financially,
Yeah,
Okay, so it's not easy. We are all struggling financially. I don't even know me that you are expecting me to advise you myself. I'm fine.
You need advice, right? You also need advice.
Okay, so I'll just advise that you budget, like
Hmm.
you seek for resources which will
Hmm.
help you manage your expenses.
Hmm.
Yeah, because even though there are certain utilities that you can never do away with, but then
Hmm.
you have to prioritize.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a student, I'm taking 1,500 bucks. Why should I
Hmm.
go and rent an apartment which would take more than
Yeah.
50% of mine? And so you have to take into consideration all these things.
Hmm.
Someone will say, "Oh, how about when I get an accommodation off campus, which is less? How do I commute to campus?" Like, it's not a big deal. They are in the United States. There are bus services.
Buses, yeah. Every school has
Yeah,
like bus
every
system. Yeah.
shuttle, the queue buses, some are free to ride, except the metro
Yeah.
buses that you'd have to pay for it. So you have to try to prioritize important things first
Hmm.
before any other things. People spend on unnecessary stuff. Like,
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
everything is, you may need it. No, I wouldn't say need. You may want it, but it might not be a need.
Yeah.
All those things you have to cut it out
Yeah.
and try to plan well. I would not advise you to save. Like, okay, so when you tell someone to save, like, it's a big deal.
Hmm.
But then you have to look out for yourself,
Yeah.
because
Take
you
care of
cannot say,
yourself.
I want to save. Meanwhile, you are struggling.
Yeah.
All in the name of, I want to make money. I want to prove my people wrong that I've been in the United States for a year and I can be able to provide this money.
Uh,
And also, you are here, you are struggling. So I don't see the reason why you should be sending money back home.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I know
Yeah.
some of you might be the breadwinners for your family or something,
Yeah.
but then first things first,
Yeah. Take care of yourself first,
you have to take
because
care
they
of
will
yourself.
survive. But they will
And
survive.
so,
I wish I knew some of this. Is when I came, I was the headquarters of charity. I was struggling and I was doing all sort of things for people. Like, but these people, they even have short memory. So it's like, yeah, you just have to take care of yourself first. After you've taken care of yourself and then everything is fine, then you can extend it to a lot of people, the extra. But then don't make certain mistakes, because here when you are struggling, it's on you. Nobody back home is going to help you. They whatever they send you cannot even do anything for you. So
never.
take care of yourself first. Yeah.
And finances can be one of the biggest challenges. So, as a
Yeah.
student, I would also advise that when you are facing financial problems, you should also reach out to the financial aid
Hmm. Are they
office.
helpful?
They are,
Did you
in
reach out to
some
them,
way.
or you had somebody reach out to them?
I didn't reach out to them, but me, my case was different.
Hmm.
Like, the department that I'm working with as a GTA, they have this scholarship award that they offer to students every year. And
Hmm.
I think last year the students didn't apply.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and they didn't want the money to go with, like, it was a budget, sorry,
Hmm.
a fiscal year, and you see when
Yeah.
they budget for some money and they don't use it, they take it back, they take it
Yeah.
away from them. So I
Yeah.
was just very fortunate and they awarded me that scholarship.
Hey, I have to
And
come
I
for my
applied.
share.
They said the GTAs in the department and we were two, so they had
Hmm.
to split it
Wow.
and share between the
Hmm.
two offers. So when you're struggling financially, there are lots of support services on campus that
Hmm.
I will recommend you reach out to, and they'll be very helpful, especially in my school. I don't know about other schools. We have the
Yeah.
Patriots Pantry.
Yeah.
If you
Pantry.
don't
Yeah.
have food, you just reach out to them every week.
Yeah.
They will give you food, like
Yeah.
financial aid. They will give you resources. Like, there are lots of financial awards
Yeah.
on campus, so they'll just send you the link to apply. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
those are some of the resources that you can take into consideration.
Hmm.
And additionally to, like I said, you have to learn how to budget for things. You do not just spend the money because you think you have it, but then you have to also consider the future. Like, what if I spend this money and something happens tomorrow? How am I going to survive? Yeah. That's all about it. Budgeting is the key
Yeah.
so that you do not go bankrupt.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, you didn't start application process yourself, but then at some point you had to do a lot of things yourself, like the interviews. You had a lot of interviews. I have coached somebody who had an interview before he got a GA. That was in 2018 or 17 or so. That's,
Wow.
yeah, but yeah, I always just apply and then get into the program without, my programs don't require, such interviews, that kind of thing.
Oh.
But me hearing about the fact that you had to go through three admission interviews, I'm like, man, which means that you have a lot of experience in terms of the process, because you were able to convince them with why you deserve to be given admission, and also the GA, like all these things. If I come to you that I have received 10 admissions in the last 2 years without any funding, what can you tell me to help me get funding?
Okay, so one thing that I'll tell you, I would advise is that you search for schools
Mm,
because there are some schools they do not give funding.
yeah.
Yeah, even the acceptance rate alone will scare you.
Mm,
So when you are considering schools, you have to take into consideration all these things, the acceptance
mm,
rates, the rate at which they give financial support to
yeah.
students. You don't just apply to the
Yeah.
school because you've heard a friend went
Yeah.
to that school, or maybe you were just
Mm,
glancing through some posts and you're like, hey, school, where you feel like,
yeah.
and
That's very
someone reached
important.
out
Yeah.
to me and was like, I applied to this university and I'm not getting funding. I was like, why did you apply to this?
Yeah.
It was like, oh,
Yeah.
they said it's a good school. It's one of the
They
most
said.
the big schools. And I was like, no, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Like, because even in Ghana, you cannot say, oh, I want to go to, let's say, there are public institutions in Ghana and there are private. It's, oh,
Mm,
I want to go to Valley View because I say Valley View, the place is nice. Meanwhile, you know you cannot afford the
exactly.
tuition. Yeah, so you have to take into consideration all these things before you apply.
Mm,
Then also, maybe the school as a school that offers funding, gives funding, but then you do not have a good GP or something.
mm,
So maybe I will recommend that
yeah.
you, how do is it the WS
Yeah. Where's
waiver?
evaluation? Where's
Yeah, so
evaluation?
you have to
Or
also try
GRE?
and evaluate your transcript in order for you to
Yeah.
get a good GPA to apply for
Mm,
funding. Yeah. Yeah.
mm.
Because my school is it's mandatory. You have to, even if you have a good GPA, they still have to evaluate it.
So you evaluated your transcript.
It was waived for me.
So you submitted your transcript and then they evaluated your transcript for
They
you.
evaluated it.
But why was it waived for you?
It wasn't
Was it waived for everybody or just you?
just me. Like people, they didn't waive it for them. They had to do
So
it.
what is special about you? Tell me.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know, but I mean, I always thought like ever since I was born, I've never like attempted something and failed and tried for the second
Mm,
time. It's like anything I do, I attempt it once and it worked out for me. I don't
mm.
know. Say,
Wow.
hey, miss me, sure, I can't tell.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
So
Wow.
when I'm considering something like someone, so let me do two or three and see near. But for me, I just tell myself, oh, I'll just do one and it will perfectly work. There's
Mm,
no try again for me. So
yeah, that's good. Yeah, just in case I mean, you are human, so just in case at some point something doesn't work, just know it's life, right? It's all good, but yeah, but yeah, the reason I'm saying is that for many years in my life, I felt like, oh, the go-to guy, and nothing will go wrong, and then at some point, man, I had to understand that, man, this is real life, and
yeah,
yeah, I used to be so confident in myself, and then everything changed. I'll be in my room. I'll be like, ah, how did I, what happened? Like, what happened to me? So, but yeah, I hope you don't get it. Everything keeps going well for you, because yeah, that's the whole point about life, right? Yeah.
And sometimes I think that reaching
Mm,
out to supervisors in your field also helps a lot.
yeah,
Yeah, you reach
yeah,
out to them and you tell them about your interests and that you are willing to help in their lab, like
mm,
research assistantship opportunities. They
yeah,
can also be a support
yeah.
system in terms of you securing funding. They
Yeah,
can vouch for you, 10K, like.
that's true. Yeah, yeah,
So you reach out to them, and also you also have to consider schools with low tuition.
yeah,
Like, you know you do not have the money, you are seeking for assistantship, and you say, let me apply to John Hopkins. Like, who does that?
yeah. That's
77,000, like,
$100,000.
you know.
100,000 or so. $100,000 or so, man.
So you have to consider schools with low
Yeah,
tuition, like 20,000. Even without funding,
at
there's a
least.
possibility that you can at least get your visa
Yeah,
approved.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah. That's what Samuel did. He didn't have funding, but then at the time he was going for the interview, he didn't have funding. His cost of attendance was like 23,000 or so, and he was approved. So, but he eventually got funding from the international office. So,
mine was
yeah.
like 70,000 and mine.
Hey,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
I think
Virginia. Yes, Virginia.
60, 69 point something, almost
Ah,
70,000. And my funding was 50K. So my deficit
yeah.
is almost 20,000.
Ah, wow.
And that's
Ah,
someone's cost of attendance. So just
yeah,
imagine.
yeah.
You have to consider
Virginia,
all those things.
Virginia, they are chilling, so you have to pay more.
Hmm, chilling. I wish.
Do you miss home? How much do you miss home?
100%.
Ah,
Huh, I miss him a lot.
yeah,
Being far from home is
yeah. It's not easy,
not
but
something I want to really talk about. But then gradually,
it is what
gradually,
it is.
everything
Yeah.
comes. Yes.
Sometimes you have to do the hard work because of enjoyment tomorrow, like more enjoyment tomorrow. So
Yes. I
yeah.
cried throughout my first semester. It wasn't easy. I cried throughout my first semester.
And now it's also cold, so it's like, man, double trouble, right? Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's life, right? We just have to accept it. Yeah, Regina, I've really enjoyed this and I really appreciate everything that you've shared, the insights, the willingness to share all of this. Like, I really appreciate it. If someone wants to follow you to learn from you or reach out to you about anything, where can they do that?
You can reach out to me via email,
Okay.
which a lot of people have been doing, and also LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those two places. Okay.
Like you said, I'm very private and I do not want to share my contact information. Like some people, they just,
Yeah, they'll just be disturbing
even
you.
though they want you to help you, but then they turn out to provoke you at the end. So,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, that's true. Like me personally, I used to respond to every single message. But then at some points, I realized that this thing that you're asking me, I've already made a lot of videos about it. I do live sessions so that every question that you have, just join and then ask. People don't want to ask, they don't want to join the live session. So that's why actually on my TikTok I have put it there, live sessions on YouTube. That in the descriptions of all my videos, I put it there, live sessions, Saturdays and Sundays. If Saturdays for some reason I'm not able to do it, then there is Sunday, but definitely there is
right.
one every week, every weekend. Join and ask. Students don't want to do that, and then they'll be asking questions that I keep talking about. So some of yeah. So then at some point I realized that yeah, and also sometimes when you respond too many times, students don't even like it. You because they want you to. They reach out to me that I should do it for them, but they don't realize that 500 other people have reached out for the same thing.
Yeah.
Which time do I have? Like, so I make the videos to serve so many people so that you can take the videos and help yourself. Students don't want that. Then they become angry that you are this. Like, so at some point I realized that yeah, human beings, the way we are, it's not, we don't even know this is who we are. We are wired like that. So sometimes, yeah, just don't respond to a lot of things. Just let people do their own thing. And if they really want to learn, they will learn. Because for me, I am willing to. I have shared everything that I need to share with students on my channel. Like everything. If you really want to know about the process, everything is there. Go and watch, and then you can. But students don't want to. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you want to say shout out to uh family home, or we should pass?
Oh,
Some people
shout
just
out to
yeah.
my family,
Okay.
everyone who made this journey a success, especially to my boyfriend.
Mm,
Thank you so much. And also, yeah, God
yeah.
bless everyone. And also, thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah.
I really appreciate being here. And like you said, I'm very private.
When I said you are private, when I said you seem private, you said no. You denied it. You said you are not private. But right now, you keep telling me that you are
Like
private.
that's how people see me. Like someone just came to mind. Can you assist me in applying for a school? I was like, my dear, I wish I could, but then I do not have much knowledge, and they turn out
Yeah.
like you are wicked.
Yeah.
I just tell them, oh, someone help me in the
Yeah.
process. But okay, like, who say
They won't
when you
understand.
tell
Yeah.
the truth, they don't like it. They
Yeah.
always want you to lie to them.
Yeah. The process is hard. And
Yeah.
normally it requires you to learn it and then do it yourself. Because all these emails, how do you expect somebody to be sending all these emails for you and then be replying to replies? Like, how can you expect somebody to do that? No, that's why you have to learn. But a lot of students, they don't want to learn. They just want you to do it for them. Like how? So for me, when it comes to applications, I don't do applications for people. I told myself I won't do applications for you. I made a course so that you can watch it and then learn how it's done. Everything, every resource, every information you need is there. But I will not, because I cannot do that kind of work. It's many hours, many hours of work. I can't do that for you. So yeah, so that it is what it
They'll
is.
tag
Yeah.
you as a wicked person.
Yeah, but it's all good, right? So Regina, thanks so much. I've really enjoyed this, and I wish you the best. I hope a lot of good things come your way, so that we can talk about them, like a good job
Very
and
soon, very
and
soon.
all of that. Yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot, and good luck to you.
Oh, all right. Thank you.